You ever notice how your life feels like reruns? Same story, different names, same heartbreak, new haircut, same job, stress, same loneliness, same internal screaming, just in a different apartment? You keep attracting the same problem somehow. It's strange. And the worst part is, you know it. It's the self awareness is the hardest part of this whole thing. So today, let's talk about that. Let's talk about why you keep playing the same cursed song over and over again, the same playlist loop as if you're stuck in it. It's disappointment and what it actually means. Spoiler alert, right quick. It's not because you're broken. It's because you're learning. Painfully, repetitively, but still learning. So here goes the first truth of this entire thing. Patterns aren't random. It's not at random. We're not picking it out for you. Patterns are not accidents. The universe isn't out to get you. It's not retrograde or whatever. Mercury is messed up in universe. No, your subconscious. That's what's going on. It's running reruns like a nostalgic psychopath. That's what's happening in your brain. That's the patterns you realize. That's why you think, oh, every time around this year, this happens. It's you. You don't attract the same toxic relationship because you're unlucky. No, you attract them because somewhere in your wiring, that kind of chaos feels familiar. You see it and say, oh, this is natural. I'm used to this. This makes sense to me. Comfortable even. You've become best friends with the void, and the void is writing you text messages and FaceTime you at 2 o'clock in the morning, begging to be let back inside the house because you don't even miss the coitus in the bedroom. What you miss is just being close to that specific person because you remember a version of them that wasn't a monster. Pain wears the cologne of your childhood. That is nostalgic trauma. That is what it is. You're not doomed. You're just looping. By God, Dormammu, you're looping. I'm here to make a bargain. That's what's happening because your brain wants to resolve an old story. It wants to rewrite it. You know how you spend all day rewriting that same conversation you had. I would have said this. I would have said that. I had a second. I just would have said this. Yes. By rewriting it with the same characters in different costumes, you become the hero. You become the person that stood up for yourself for once in your life. And you want that same thing. That's why the pattern happens over and over again because you're trying to relive a moment to do it better this time. You're learning. You're trying. Every single wound on your body is like a compass, but sometimes it points in the wrong direction. You want love? Sure. But if your first love taught you that love equals chaos, you'll start chasing storms and calling them home. You'll think the eye of the storm is non-existent and the wind turbines and the tunnels and the spiritual pressure of people destroying you and beating you down, that's natural. You'll swipe right on red flags to convince yourself it's passion. Oh, he's yelling because he's passionate. He's breaking things because he's passionate. He plays League for 10 hours because he has drive and vision. Oh, he's amazing. Same with jobs. You crave meaning, but you keep applying for places where your worth is measured by how well you stay silent, how well you don't hit up authority, how well your McDonald's critique is going, how well that's going. That's what you keep applying for. That's what happens. We recreate the past not because we like it, but because it's the only map we've ever known. Here goes the brutal truth about humans and us in general. We mistake familiar for safe. We think this feels right. But what we really mean is this feels known. Put that in your brain for a moment. If you think something feels right, that's incorrect. It feels known. A while back, I remember they re-released the Reptar bars. The Reptar bars turned your tongue green. It was super cool, and I never was able to have one when they did the first drop of it, so I wanted a Reptar bar. Probably the worst piece of chocolate I've ever eaten in my entire life, but I bought it because I grew up watching Rugrats. It doesn't do anything. It was garbage. Sometimes your intuition isn't a mythical force. Sometimes it's just trauma wearing a trench coat. That's all it is. Trying to drag you back into a reality you've never escaped. That's it. That's all it is. That's it. The same problems keep showing up because you keep opening the door to what you recognize instead of what you need. What you need is to realize you can't repeat mistakes over and over again and get a different outcome. You have to accept that the past has to stay in the past. This is the world. This is reality. This is how things work and operate. It sucks. It's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be destructive. But you don't have to keep reliving the same nightmare. because you're tossing and turning in the bed hoping to get to the cool side of the pillow. When in reality, you don't even have any pillows, dude. Now, if you're like me, you might also be the villain. Yes, you're gentle, you're loving, you're soft, but you might be the villain because you're the one doing it. You might be the issue and the problem. You're the common denominator in all your problems. It just might be you. I had to realize at a very early point in my life that the reason I was having so many issues, how many times I went homeless, how many times I had these crazy stories that you guys hear for, it's not because I encountered people that are super chaotic and random. It's because I am the chaotic factor that enters into this and creates the problems and issues. That happens so often. We all live inside little stories we've told ourselves. I'm not good enough. People always leave. Everything I care about breaks. And once you believe that story you told yourself, you start bending the world to fit it. You change the world so you don't have to change yourself. You pick people who will confirm it. You make choices that sabotage anything that contradicts it. You are your greatest doomsday weapon. You are destroying yourself. Because if the story's right, if your story's right, then at least you understand the pain. At least you can compartmentalize it. And understanding pain can feel safer than risking something new. No, this isn't karma, by the way. I want to point this out. A lot of you will say, that's karma, that's the universe. That is not karma. No, you're not cursed. You didn't do something in a past life that said, oh, you actually stepped on a crack and broke your mama's back. Now you have scoliosis. No, that's not what's happening. The universe doesn't hate you. It's not laughing behind a cosmic camera, behind the scenes reel, writing jokes at your expense. Haha, let's make Anthony have a bad day. Cassandra's gonna have a bad day too. Oh my goodness, Dylan, we're gonna make sure his life sucks. No, it's not real. You're not real. You're not attracting these problems because you deserve them. Your attraction to these problems is stemmed from the fact that you've been conditioned to seek what mirrors what you know. It's habit. It's instinct to you almost. Yes, this person is a horrible choice, but you're attracted to guys with dreadlocks. Don't even know why. This is you. You don't care about anything else. You just see dreadlocks. You see the fact that they identify as a specific thing, and that's you. That's what you got. That's what you're doing with. You're attracted to guys who like motorcycles or play guitar. You're attracted to girls who have nose piercings or like horses. You just are used to it. But this is how your nervous system protects you. That's what happens with your body. It's very good at remembering patterns. It's very well at it. Muscle memory can even exist in your brain because your brain is in itself an organ, but it functions as a muscle. Same with your heart. That's how it works. It looks for consistency, even if the consistency is painful. Hence why even though working out hurts, your body looks for that because it releases that same dopamine for it. You're not broken. You're tired. You're tired of trying to heal the same tools that built the wound. You're building with the same tools that built the wound is what you're doing. That's what's happening. And it sucks. It really does. Well, now you're looking for how to stop, obviously, right? You need to figure out how do you stop attracting the same problems. It's not with manifesting. No. It's not with vision boards. It's not with passive hope. It's not with, I'll eventually learn. It's with awareness. You need to be aware of yourself. But I already know what's going on. You said I already knew. No. Being awareness. Let me tell you what it looks like. Start paying attention to what feels familiar and ask if familiar is actually good. Yes, your dad yelled at you and your partner yells at you and it reminds you of your dad, but did that make you feel good or did you get used to it because it felt like home? Yes, you have a narcissistic woman who's actively telling you that you should stop being weird. Does that remind you of your mother because you love your mother really a lot? You love her so much and you want to make sure that your mother's safe, so you make sure to stick around and don't be as weird because you're listening to a woman that reminds you of your mom. Is that what's going on? Notice your first reactions to people and situations. Sometimes your gut is trauma, not truth. Have you ever considered that? That gut feeling in your stomach is just trauma. That's what it is. Question your patterns ruthlessly and gently. Question them. Question them with scrutiny. Get bored of your own chaos. That's how you know you're ready, when you are bored of your own chaos. Learn to sit with discomfort that isn't destructive. Peace will feel boring at first. It's horrifying. That's okay. Let it. Peace will feel disgustingly boring. You'll want the chaos. You'll wonder, why is there no drama happening? Why aren't I fixing a problem right now? What's happening? And when you catch yourself reaching for the same problem again, pause. Stop. breathe. Do something different, even if it's small. Even if it's saying no 5 seconds earlier than last time. That's how the loop ends. Not by some grand refusal, but by some quiet rejection. Small. Time for an affirmation for yourself. You are not doomed to live the same heartbreak on repeat. You're not. You are not a glitch. You're a pattern that's learning to rewrite itself, is what you are. That's you. Please remember that. So next time it feels like life is sending you the same test over and over again, remember, it's not a punishment, it's a lesson. And you're not failing it, you're just learning it loudly, like all of us. If this hits you in some way in the gut, please consider commenting, and subscribing. It's nice. I caught you, didn't I? Did I get you? Anyways, we're all trying to get out of the loop, but it helps when you don't try alone. I hope you have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. Bye.
I'm your Nick and Night, be my Laurel, slow. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you